We're talking some portal players with the most to prove in 2025. And if that sounds like a familiar story that you have read on 247sports.com, you probably saw the byline from our friend Brad Crawford, who is here to talk about some of those players who have the most to prove in their new transfer destinations. And Brad, one of the guys that you mentioned, Jackson Arnold. What does he have to prove just to win the Auburn job? Because I'm not sure that's totally solidified yet, right?
He has to improve his consistency and accuracy from the pocket. I mean, I don't think he's done that so far in spring practice. He obviously didn't do it last September as a first year starter at OU because he got benched for Michael Hawkins. Look, Hugh Freeze has pushed all of his chips to the center of the table at the quarterback spot. And I think Jackson Arnold knows that, behind his back is a freshman named Deuce Knight, who Freeze has raved about so far on the Plains. And Auburn has made such a heavy NIL investment in the receiving group with five-star Cam Coleman last season, Perry Thompson. You've got Eric Singleton, a top-rated portal receiver from Georgia Tech on the way in. So, I mean, Auburn has all the tools offensively to have an elite group on that side of the ball this season. But right now, Jackson Arnold, it's the million-dollar question. He has to prove it. That's why he's one of the top guys on my list.
Yeah, it's a two-way street to what Brad talked about. I mean, you think about Oklahoma last year for Jackson Arnold, for a young quarterback, a redshirt freshman. He was not set up for success. And you think about their offensive line, they were banged up at receiver. Nick Anderson, he's off to Baton Rouge. Deion Burks was banged up as well. Well, he goes to Auburn. It's a completely different situation. Brad just talked about that receiving core. You have former five-star Cam Coleman. You got guys like Eric Singleton, one of the top players in the portal. Horatio Fields, who I'm high on, along with you, Smoke. Go down the list. There is a bevy of talent that is ready to be tapped into at Auburn on the on the perimeter. Then you have guys like Darrell Robinson at the running back position. They bring in Xavier Chaplin, offensive tackle, as well from Virginia Tech. So you think about Auburn, and then you think about the pressure this year for Hugh Freeze going into this year. If they don't win, this might be it, right? So they also bring in Ashton Daniels from Stanford. Brad just touched on Deuce Knight, who was very, very talented in his own right. Is Jackson Arnold the guy, if you're Hugh Freeze, to say, hey, this is the guy that I'm going to ride with? I don't know. And that's kind of where I land on that. The skill and the capability is there. But in term for Jackson Arnold and for Auburn to work, he's going to have to take a big step that we didn't really see a lot of last year in the poise. That's a big question mark. Arguably, the competition going to continue to be ramped up there in the SEC. So this is a huge question mark for me. And certainly, I think one of the biggest storylines in the SEC is going to be Jackson Arnold this year.
Yeah, with me is how does he raise the level of play with everybody around him? Forget everything else. You just said he has players at outside, offensive line, great play caller. Yeah, where is he going to go from this point and talk about just raising the play? How can he get the average guy to play better? And when you push all your chips in and you're Hugh Freeze and saying, you know what, this is the guy, my year, because if I don't win, I'm going to get canned. Is Jackson Arnold the guy that you want to say, win or go home? We saw what Brent Venable said, no mas. So that's my thing. Can he raise the level of play with guys around him, with everything else? Because he's set up for it. Absolutely success with the offensive line play caller, and the receivers.
Not to mention, Smoke, the leash on Jackson Arnold is not going to be as long as Peyton Thorne had last season at Auburn. I mean, we saw 5 or 6 straight starts where Peyton Thorne was just making bad decisions late in games, not only turning it over, but just not playing well on third down. Jackson Arnold has to be a good third down quarterback for this Auburn offense to be successful. And Coop, you mentioned it too. I mean, Hugh Freeze is on one of the nation's, not only SEC, but the college football's hottest seats. And if they go 5-7 this season with this roster, this much of an offseason investment on the Plains, it's not going to look good for Hugh Freeze, and Jackson Arnold's ship probably sails the rest of his college career. So it's important for him not only to finish spring as Auburn's QB1, but go into fall camp with a little confidence in that he can hold off Deuce Knight and some of those other guys in that room.
You mentioned the short leash on Jackson Arnold. Apparently, it was very short as a freshman, too. I wonder about his psyche just being benched, coming in as that 5-star quarterback and hoping to transform the Oklahoma offense, now hoping to do that at Auburn.